Welcome to the Loveland Report and Loan Arranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's best real estate planner, alongside Bruce Woodburn, the Loan Arranger.
That's me.
We are going to give you your mortgage news, your real estate news, what's going on. I've got some great numbers today on inventory.
Great numbers.
Hopefully this market is turning around. What's going on during the holidays. We can get you into that house so you're unwrapping Christmas presents there, Christmas Day. Negotiations. How important and how do you handle negotiations in different situations? We'll talk about that today. Bruce, what do you got?
Well, there's a lot of news about President Trump doing everything he can to combat affordability. And so they're talking about 50-year mortgages. They're talking about possible portability on porting your old loan into a new one. And I want to talk about what Fannie Mae has done to make it a little easier for buyers to qualify for a Fannie Mae loan. Then I want to talk about refinancing. Is it the right time to refinance? Because I'm going to tell you right now, the time to buy is right now. And I want to get into the reasons why. You'll also hear me as a guest, as an expert on Fox News. And I had the luxury of getting on the Scott Inez show the other day.
In the morning show? Yeah.
And I know that you do it quite often. What a fascinating man he is. And I was grateful that he would.
We're just talking, and Scott's been a staple at DBO since I've been there for 30 years.
Right.
Been on the air for 30 years doing this, but that's just, there's nothing else like WDBO that gives everybody the news they need and experts like us on the weekends talking about that.
It was interesting. I went to dinner last night with my cousin and her son, and he is a 35-year-old blind young man, and he's been blind his whole life. But he was at dinner with me and he goes, "Yeah, I listened to your show." And I said, "Out of curiosity, you have no reason to buy a home or refinance a home. Why do you listen to my show?" And he goes, "Uncle Bruce, it's just fascinating. I love to listen to your show." I'm like, "I really appreciate that. Tell me what you find interesting about it." He just said, "I find the interaction with you and Cleve and on your show to be really informational, and I get to share it with my friends." So what I'd like to do is ask our listeners that really are loyal to us and listen to our show, if you're not interested in buying, selling, or refinancing, or need a property that needs management, maybe you know somebody.
Have your friends call us, yeah,
that we can help. We'd be grateful for that opportunity. And I do hear a lot. I'll go, "My mom told me to call. She's been listening to you for 20 years. So we want you to know that we're always there for you, your friends, your family, your coworkers, whatever we can do. You can reach the Loan Arranger at 407-250-9144 or Cleve Loveland at 407-352-8118.
All right, Bruce, I want to dive into these numbers here. We get great reports from the Board of Realtors and on the inventory. And this tells us, are we seller's market, buyer's market? Mm-hmm. And I've always been watching this. It's funny. Back in January, I made a mistake and I called the bottom of the market because February, we beat 2024 sales. February of this year beat last year on that. But it was, the rest of the year has been, 10%, 15% behind 2024. Well, here we go. October's numbers are in. Inventory came down slightly for single family homes. So we've got
2%.
Yeah. And we've got the number of single family homes is dropping. Condos ticked up because their dues are higher. But the inventory for the last 6 months has been stable at about a 5-month supply. Now, the number of sales, we beat it from last year. Last October, only 2,100 homes sold. We sold 2,300. So that's 10%.
Right.
10% more sales. Number of homes under contract. This tells us what's going to close in November right now. Under contract, beat that by about 15%. So, and the number of new contracts up 15%. So, number of new listings slightly higher. People kind of getting, I think, okay with the rates now. Rates from a year ago are slightly lower, averaging around 6. Where are we at? 6.25. Depends on
around 6.35 right now.
Okay, depending on the type of loan and their credit score and things like that. That's why you call the Loan Arranger. Figure that out. Get your app in. But these are good numbers, and I foresee the same thing. I think we'll be able to crush November of last year was blah. It's right. And then it's funny. We got a little post-election bump after Trump won.
We did.
We got a little post-election bump, and hopefully we'll see more of that. But things are settling down, and this is the slowest year probably in 15 years.
Yes.
But we are still better than the rest of the nation. And
we also saw prices settle just a little bit on your medium price point from this time last year. They've dropped about 2%. I think that's the end of the drop. I really do. I can't see, based on the amount of inventory that we have, that we're going to go down any further. So
Yep.
if you're looking for the curve and when things are starting to turn around, I think that this is pretty much,
And
it's difficult
it's
to
like
time the
timing this.
market.
Yeah, it's like timing. We don't know exactly when, but these slowdowns usually last. I've been through 4 of these in my 35 years, and they last 2 to 5 years.
Yes,
You
they
know,
do.
and that's the cycle. We've been, the Biden hangover. This is probably the 4th year.
This is the
So,
4th year. Yeah.
of crummy rates and things getting better. So, but our Central Florida economy, our tax structure, and despite what you think, the election in New York, I haven't seen busloads of New Yorkers pulling. I'll hop on the morning news with Scott. I'm sure he'd love to have me. And I haven't seen the busloads of New Yorkers coming yet. They're going to move to red counties in New York. They're going to wait
They're
to
not
see.
moving out
It's
of
going to
there.
take them a little bit to
I don't really
mess up
want
the
them to
economy.
move out of there. I don't want a bunch of red people or
Blue politics coming to our red
politicians
state.
moving down here. I don't want them here. I just soon you stay up there. You can keep all that stuff. That doesn't mean we don't love our New Yorkers, because we do, but I don't want a bunch of their shenanigans coming down here.
Yeah. So but I think this is a good market we're in. I'm seeing homes but you've got to be like, I just did a market analysis for a house in St. Cloud. This house, a 1,700 square foot pool home, it's in a buyer's market. There's 30 for sale within 2 miles
Wow.
because of all the new construction. And all those other homes are between 400 and 450. So we're a pool home. We're on a bigger lot. We looked at what's been happening, and I adjusted the price because we've only been getting about 2 or 3 showings a week. And I know from the feedback, they're just kind of like, we like it, but no offers. So the seller's out of town. They need their money to buy a house up in South Carolina. And it's funny, they're already missing the warm weather, but things like that, you got to be proactive. You got to have a listing agent that's
Absolutely, you do.
proactive. So
Yeah, no question about it. So, speaking of a great time to buy, if you got your application made right now, I could get you into a home by Christmas time. No problem at all.
I can, yeah,
I'll have
yep.
you into a home by Christmas time. We can get through everything. I'll do a quick closing, but wouldn't you like to start off the beginning of the year owning your own home? For all of the people that are sitting out there right now that are renting, or even the people that want to move up, you had another child, you had a promotion, you're just finding that the house you have currently is just not working for you. Stop it. The golden handcuffs have to come off, and let's get in the market
Let me
and go
make
get yourself
let me
your
make
new
your old
home.
house a landlord. Start off
I think that
2026
would
as
be
a
the best thing.
landlord. Yep.
If you can still qualify with keeping the 2 mortgages, we can put a renter in one, offset the mortgage payment in the one you currently have. Keep that home because you got a 3% rate on that one. Keep that home as a rental property forever. And you will end up in retirement with a lot more money than you ever anticipated.
And let me say that I just went and saw somebody last night, a DBO listener that called me, getting ready to retire. And we talked about renting their home or selling it. And I gave them the numbers on what they do renting and about what they'd sell for. And I think they need to wait a while to sell because they're not a buyer's market around them, but they got about 10, 15 other actives around them. And they need that to kind of clear out and inventory to shrink a little bit. But we talked about renting it, and I think it was too big a chunk. They wouldn't cash flow a whole bunch, and it's a big house. And I went over everything with them. I said, take this to your financial planner. I think they should sell that. But it's different for everybody, and that's why you can't just check a website on what you should do or ask Grok.
No.
Ask the AI, what should I do? And just having me help you. I've got 80 landlords that I deal with every year. I've helped people make tons of money in real estate, but also I've sent tons of money to their financial planners too when we sell their homes.
Yes. It's interesting. We oftentimes run into challenges in this industry, and that's why you need a human being to help you, not an AI to help you. And there's all kinds of moving parts because we have humans that we're dealing with. I've got a situation right now where I had a client fully approved for a loan, and I was waiting for his bank statements to show where the cash to close was coming from because he wanted to switch money around. He didn't give it to me the last minute. You know what I see on there? An IRS debt for $550 a month. Well, the client was trying to keep that from me. That's not a good idea.
Yeah.
That only hurts you.
You will find it. You were like mom with the teenager,
and his
right?
his wife was from Germany, and we don't like banks knowing what we're doing. And I'm like, in America, we're going to know everything you're doing. Okay. And if you're going to borrow $600,000, I'm going to doggone know what you're doing. But they thought they could slide it by me. So my point is here, folks, there are so many ways that I can help you navigate the system, and we can do it legitimately. But when you try to skirt around the issues or hide things from the lender, it only hurts the client. So be upfront. My advice to you is be upfront. Tell me everything. If there's something I don't want to know, I'll go, hey, Cleve, I'd just as soon not know that. Okay. Let's just keep that hidden over there. But let's be upfront with me so I don't get surprises along the line. It only hurts you. So upfront, and then we can navigate how we can make this work. There's generally a way to make things work.
All right. So went into numbers. I just think these are good numbers here. Things are steady. Interest rates are about three quarters, not three quarters, they're about 3/8% less than last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, they are
According to this.
lower than last
So
year.
I just think it's a good time. I mean, it's just the market here is doing well. I'm seeing when a property's priced well, I help them stage it right. I've got a 50-point staging checklist, Bruce. When I see that and we get that done, I see good activity and I see good offers. So
Right.
every once in a while, I get the short bus real estate offers, that are 100,000 below list on a $500,000 home. And I have to do a little work there. And I go back to the agent and say, hey, here's your counter offers. I give them two choices and
Yeah.
I'll show them the comps we use to price it. I'll show them the facts that how this is where we came up with our price. If your buyers want it, we need to be in this range. And it's funny, most of them are very thankful for that help because they weren't taught anything by that. These virtual realtors that are in an office with no broker and no sales manager, virtually zero training.
Well, and it's not uncommon for us to have to run interference when you have an inexperienced real estate agent. And it's actually the client doesn't know it until the client experiences it.
Yep.
So if you are looking to choose a real estate agent, choose one very carefully, because you take somebody that you might like and you might even trust them and they may be very nice, but are they capable of handling your money at a high level? Are they really giving you the level of advice that you need to be able to save money, get to the closing smoother and on time? And that's what Cleve brings to the table. He's a straight shooter. He's going to tell you how to get the job done. And I'm going to tell you, I guess if a client comes to you and wants to list a home and they're unrealistic completely, how do you handle that then? Like, I want 600,000 for my house. And you look up at it and you're like, look at the highest price house that sold in your neighborhood is 560. But I redid my bathroom and I put new floors in
Mhm.
and I did all this. How do you handle that so that you can make them feel comfortable and important, but get the truth
Well,
out?
this is why when I list a property, I always try and go a little higher than we think we can do. But if you don't get it within a couple weeks and I'm doing all my marketing and we're advertising the heck out of it and you don't get it, the buyer's probably bought something else around you. And it's hard to be a trailblazer and break records in this market.
Yes, it
And I
is.
see very little of that happening right now. People are cautious, people are tight with money. It's a little tougher right now with the higher interest rates and than what they were 4 years ago.
Well, and
And
you're competing against a builder that's doing a buy down at
that too.
4.5%,
That
right?
could be down the street. So you've got to watch. I mean, those things will come out, but that's all about planning it. But what happens to most sellers right now, if they're buying again, when they go by, the shoe's on the other foot and they're getting a
Absolutely.
good deal. We're getting a little bit more
Absolutely.
closing costs. We're getting a good buy on that. And it's about what does the family need? Does the family have to have 2,500 square feet because they're busting at the seams in 1,800? Does the family have to downsize because they really want to save more money so they can travel twice a year? That's the real estate plan I help people work out, Bruce.
Well, and I think that you nailed it, though. You've got to find a real estate agent that really understands the market so they're not wasting your time. Because I know there's plenty of agents out there that will list the house for whatever the seller wants to list the house for, even if they know it's an unrealistic amount. And the reason they'll do that is they want to put their sign in your yard.
Yeah.
They just want their sign
Yeah.
in the yard. That makes them feel like they're famous. Oh, I got a listing. There's my name.
Yep.
I can
Yep.
watch. I took a picture and I sent it to all my friends on Facebook because I have a listing with my name on
Well,
it.
all 13 of them might not know. That's
But
why
you
the MLS
mentioned one
works.
other thing on that scenario. All of the marketing and advertising we do, there is no other real estate agent in this entire area that does the marketing and promotes their property on the air like you and I do.
And
We got
call
to
me if
cut
you
for
need
a
help,
break.
407-352-8118. I can help you with a marketing plan for your house. Call me or go to cleveloveland.com.
Yeah, or call the loan arranger. Get your application started. Purchase, refi, home equity line of credit. You name it, we got it. I've got it right here for you. I promise you the best possible interest rates, a smooth and successful closing. Call me at 407-250-9144 or go to webringyouhome.com. I'll be back in 5 minutes. We're going to talk about 50-year mortgages.